Welcome everybody to the Mile 99 interview. I apologize for the lighting, but it's pretty bad up here. Um, and the Mile 99 interview is basically a way for the running community to communicate to one another, to learn about other runners, and especially in this time of shelter in place, especially even now that we're starting to open up and see others. We want to continue to learn more about our local runners and our local celebrities. I am here in Auburn at the 8th station, broadcasting live, and I'm upstairs in my so-called office. That's why it's a little bit messy behind me, so I apologize. And I'm here with Greg Larkin, my co-host. Greg?
Thank you, Paulo. Yeah, I'm Greg Larkin, and we're now in our fourth week of interviews for our little series here, the Mile 99 interview series. And yeah, as Paulo said, I mean, we're just trying to get everybody together every week and talk to some local runners, some people that we're interested in learning more about. And we have another amazing person to talk to this week, learn more about. I don't know him or his exploits like intimately, and I sure hope I get to learn more about what he's been up to over his running career tonight. And that's Kuni Yamagata, and we want to welcome you.
Thank you.
I should also say that just a shout out, we've got some regulars that are showing up now. So I think Jessica's been with us 4 weeks now. So thank you for becoming one of our interview regulars. Mike Turner, he's handling all the audience questions if we have any. Those will be potentially later, and just kind of keeping an eye on things, giving us the heads up when chat questions are coming in or other things are happening. So appreciate that, Mike. So let's get started. So Kuni Yamagata, I think this is a name that a lot of us know in the area. He has some amazing race results over the last decade or more that I'd love to talk to him more about, and we'll certainly do that. He's from, at the moment, lives in Citrus Heights, certainly a fixture on the trail running scene up and down Auburn and the general area, and has done all kinds of races. By my count, over 120 race results on ultra sign up since approximately 2009. So that's just an amazing resume right there. And
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it sure is. A lot of investment there. And it looked to me like your debut ultra was AR50 in 2009. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, that's a big one to just jump right into. So what made you pick that one like right out of the gate?
Well, after road running, the marathons and stuff, I joined Free Feet trail running program, and they had a way too cool AR50 training program. That's what I got into trail. So.
Had you looked at like any kind of shorter distances initially? Maybe you did have a couple of shorter races that looked like on ultra sign up prior to that, maybe trail races.
I can't remember. I did way too cool first or AR50, but yeah, it was around 20 to 2012 maybe. Something like that.
So Kuni, I've known you. I can never really pinpoint how I got to know a lot of the people in the running community, but I think that's great because it's most likely when we run into each other, we've already known so much of each other that we've been friends all along and we just never knew each other. But I am curious to learn how you got into running. Especially, we've learned that you were a smoker in your 20s. Right? Yes, we do our homework. Yeah, you were a smoker in your 20s. It's and I was a heavy smoker in my mid-teens to my early 20s. And, whenever people ask me what got you into running, I always say cigarettes. It's cigarettes and Chinese food.
Yeah, everybody does it.
Yeah. So, I'm really curious to learn how you got into running.
I think I told somebody else before, but I can't remember exactly what year, but I had the heart problem, and
Okay.
I was rushed into the emergency, and they were trying to revive my heartbeat and all that, and that got kind of scared me. So uh, doctor was gonna put me all kind of medication stuff, and then I don't really like any kind of medicines, and I decided he recommended exercise and stuff. So me and Daisy went out sporting goods store, and got this treadmill and put it in the garage and start using it, and I really like doing that. And then I had my business. I had a shop out in Jackson Road and had a big field up there. So I start running with my after work. I start running my work boots and jeans, running around in the backside of the field, and I really got into running.
Okay.
And then I found out there's a running clubs called SACFIT, and I joined the SACFIT in 2008. That's when that's where I really run my basic running stuff, and I really learned to enjoy it. So that's how I got in.
So the early years of your running career was 2007, 2008,
Yeah,
uh,
2008.
right? It's going into ultras in 2009 to where you are now, having completed number of hard rock finishes, Western States, Hurt, and many more. Okay, so that's good to know. Sounds like
Just
like,
typical story.
what's up?
Just typical story,
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
I think that the way that you got into running is a typical way is more common than we think, but I don't think your journey is as common as anyone else's, right? I don't know many people that have finished Hard Rock multiple times, right? I don't
about
know many people that has finished Hurt and Hard Rock and Western State. So we want to learn more about Kuni. It's because how you got into running is relatively common because we all found that is a better way to live when you're healthier or have a healthy activity. But some will argue that we've taken it to a unhealthy level by you know running hundreds of miles a month,
yeah.
right? Yes.
Yeah.
I think the people who who used to smoke, who used to drink, has the kind of thing for habitual things. So once you get in a habit of running, you just can't stop anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at your altar sign up, I mean, it's a pretty steep ramp, a pretty steep like uphill to get to that level. I mean, I think we've talked to some people last few weeks and just friends of ours in general, start off kind of small and, try a trail marathon, a 50K, and maybe a couple of years later, try 100K, something like that. But obviously your ramp is quick, I mean, you're right out of the gate, like going into the 50 milers and,
Well, I
that's,
get I get bored real easy,
mm-hmm.
and when I found some race that I can finish easy, not easy, but I know I can pretty much complete without any trouble. Then I get bored, so I start looking some races that I can't finish if unless everything goes right, kind of race.
Yeah.
So that's my things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to run a race that everybody can finish, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would definitely take you and maybe get you to do something like the Ultra Trail Mount Fuji, for instance, or something along those lines, like some really just kind of like things that not a whole lot of people from this area would do, I would say. And yeah, just looking through, some of the other races, you know, Long Beach, obviously lots of things in California, but just like out of this area, and then obviously Hardrock and all of those. So, yeah, I mean, what was like one of the first times that you became aware of Hardrock? Was it just sort of one of those mythical races that people kept talking about?
Oh, yeah.
I got to do that one.
Yeah, it's just like Boston, right? It's just, you gotta go through it. So when I found out, I read all the blogs and everything like that, and I can tell how hard that is. So I had to do it.
Ah.
I just fell in love with it, and people there, and the view, sceneries, and the way they do the races. It just, everything about it. It's just the best thing there is.
Mm. So that sounds like your race for sure.
Yeah, I love it. It's still, I don't want to do it, but it's just like one in Hawaii. I don't want to do it, but I like to try it.
Yeah.
It scares me every year.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say, like, those are probably a couple of the bucket list race. I mean, they got to be in like the top 10 for most people in terms of, I want to do that thing, before I don't run anymore, because it's so many people talk about it. They're so difficult. They're also very difficult to get into, I think, from my understanding. Like Hardrock is extremely difficult to get into. So what can you tell us about like your process for first setting that goal, like I want to do this race, but then like the actual mechanics of how do I even get into this thing? Like, what did you have to do?
Yeah, I applied it. I didn't get it, but second time I got it. And Hardrock, compared to Western states, it gets easier as you start getting in, because you don't lose your point score things. So more year you run, you just kind of build up your point you have. So it gets easier. Western states you have a point, but once you run that year, you go back to zero. So.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so like after the first time you've done Hardrock, then you can probably very likely like continue running it if you want to.
Yeah, because now it's a 3 categories: the never ran, and everybody else. Then people who run 5-time Hardrock become veterans, and they finish it. Yeah, to finish Hardrock 5 times.
Gotcha. And you've got.
I finished 4.5 times.
Yeah, right. So I was going to ask you, like, you've got 5 starts, 4 finishes. So I mean, if you do another one, right? What's that?
I finished 4.5 times.
4.5. I gotcha.
So it's talking about Hardrock and in general about running races, because I seen you run anything from 50K to 100 miles. And what would you say is has been your hardest race? To you, one, in which race which race are you the proudest to have finished? Because none necessarily is the hardest. And then what race do you consider to be the hardest physically, right?
Okay. Hardrock is the one I'm very proud of finished it.
Okay.
And there's one race in Japan. It's called Kuni. I should be there right now running, but I tried 2 times and failed make a cutoff at the 110K. And this thing is just, it's so hard to finish up. They give you 36 hours to finish, but it's about 31,000 feet total climb, and they won't let you use a walking stick.
Okay.
And cutoff is very hard. So I was gonna try this year again. Had my name in it, but got canceled. So maybe next year. But this is the hardest.
Mm. Okay. Good. Do you go back to Japan to do a lot of races out there? It's
just for
yeah,
this one.
just for this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did the Mount Fuji one, but they already changed the course so many times.
Okay.
And yeah, they don't go around Fuji anymore.
They don't.
Yeah, they go like 3/4 way, and then they turn around and go back the other way.
Okay.
So they don't circumnavigate around Fuji.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's unfortunate to hear. Mount Fuji has been or was my bucket list of,
yeah,
and I actually, after the year I run UTMB, it was 2014, 2015, I wanted to do Mount Fuji.
mm,
I was ready to register for it, and that's the year that they changed the date, I believe from
yeah,
April to
September.
September or September,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it just didn't fit my schedule. And after that, I had 15 children, and here we
Yeah,
are.
they have so many different problems there. The
Yeah.
Kaburagi, who run states here,
Mm-hmm.
the race director. And when I did, it was May, April,
Okay.
the end of April.
Mm-hmm.
They had a problem with bird people, which they just like environmental stuff. It's a bird, what you call it, the season for bird to have a baby.
Okay.
So they didn't let us to run that course that part of the year. That's why Kaburagi changed it to September. Then it's a typhoon season in September. So we had to cancel that again. So they back to April again now. But because they go through a lot of private property around the Mount Fuji, so
Okay.
they couldn't go through the original course anymore. So they use a lot of pavement part of the course now. So it's not that much of a trail race anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're speedster who like to run streets and pavement kind of course, then it's pretty good course to run.
Pavement Ultra sounds fun.
Yeah, I know.
Haven't done one of those yet.
No.
Well, yeah. So sounds like just some really interesting races, obviously that you've been out doing, and we'll continue to do. Obviously, this season's been upside down as it has been for everybody. And so, what have you been doing? I mean, I think when we got your kind of pre-interview questionnaire back, one of the things we asked you was, do you like to just run, or do you like to just train for races? Like what kind of mix? And I think you said you really like to train for races. So given the situation right now with no races going on really right at the moment, like how has your motivation been affected, and like what are you doing to adjust to
Yeah.
that?
Well, first, I don't really like running.
I think your questionnaire says you hate running.
Yeah, I hate running. I don't understand how people can kind of feel good about it. I see people say, "Oh, that was fun." I never had that feeling. I don't know. I can't. I'm not fast runner, but I can't slow down and jog. So I run about 6 miles every morning, and even some morning I can't. I have a hard time get up because of my body is sore from last days of work or something. But I can't just jog and relax. So once I run, I gotta push it. So that part, from running, I think I enjoy being painful. I have to explain, but that's I think, my thing. I think that's why, like running marathons and stuff wasn't enough for me because my personality is very, very bad. So I'm glad my wife's still staying with me, but the only thing I can relax is when I'm having a really painful time.
Yeah.
So when I'm pushing, sometime during 100-mile race, I'm only thing I'm thinking about is how painful it is. So I don't have to think about what I do tomorrow for the job and all this stuff anymore. So
I mean, that's actually a great thing. And it sounds like, I mean, you're able to just kind of put yourself like right in the moment of that race, experience it all, like
yeah,
experience the pain, hopefully some joy at some point when you're done. But you're not thinking about like, oh, you know, I've got bills to pay. I've got a life outside
oh
of
yeah,
this. It's like, it's all right there for you. Is that accurate?
yeah. Because when I did Tahoe 200, I got to Sunday morning, I think around the Spooner, all I was thinking was how to how to do this Monday business thing. So when my shin splint went really bad, I was so ready to drop out and go home and get ready to walk. So I don't know. I just I don't like running. Yeah.
I have to say, I agree with Kuni
Yeah.
100%. I've always said I don't like running, but I like what running does to me.
Yeah.
It's but yeah, it is a hard thing. Even here, when people come into the store and they usually happens with beginner runners, and they said, "Oh, my knees hurt, my hips hurt." It's like, well, running it is a high impact sport.
Mm.
It's not a, you're not coasting down on a bike, just feeling the air coming through your face. It's no, you're feeling everything. You're feeling the pavement. If you're on the trails, you're looking out for that rattlesnake. Or that cougar. Even if you're on the road, you gotta watch out for cars. Um, but yeah. I mean, there are things that I like about running, but running
Mm.
itself is a difficult thing. So I have to agree with
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be doing it if it's not painful.
Connie. Yeah.
The pain has to be there in order to
Yeah,
motivate.
pain has to be there.
Well,
I like it.
that answers a lot of questions that we had.
Yeah, well, pretty much that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, yes. We've learned what why
all
Cooney is a
pain.
runner. Yeah, it's all paid. Yes. Uh, um,
Well, I
uh,
mean, sort of related to that. I mean, obviously, yeah, we've all been in those situations where we're just in that race and we're training even. I mean, you're just having a bad day. It's just rough, right? And you know, I guess one of the questions I like to ask, several times now, last few weeks, is just kind of people's mental state and kind of where they go when they're in that just low point during the race where you just don't know, can I take another step? Like, how am I going to get to that next aid station or to the finish line or anything? Have you ever, like, especially with things like Hardrock, where it's just so beyond in terms of physical difficulty and mental difficulty, I'm guessing, how do you get through those low points? Have you had any? What does it take to get you through?
So my thing is I'm very competitive, even though I'm slow. During the race, I'm like walking to, when I see somebody in front of me, all I thinking was, I'm gonna pass this guy. That's pretty much I do a whole race. And if somebody passes me, I have a very good memory, and I won't stop till I pass that person. So that keeps me going the whole race.
That's actually a really good technique, it sounds like. I mean,
Yeah,
you can just kind of put that in your head and use that as a carrot to kind of keep moving forward.
That's one of the reasons I always start the race in the back because I hate to be passed by people. Yeah, so when I used to start from the front, and all these fast people come by and passes me, and they pass me nice, but I don't like it. So
I get
so
that.
yeah, one year I just decided to start from the way in the back, so I don't have to worry about somebody being passing me. So
That's a really good idea. I mean, I know, yeah, like I come from a bike racing background, and I know that I used to do these hill climb races, and I'd start off really fast and I get passed by a bunch of people, or I I would start too fast, and then they would start passing me, and I couldn't catch them. So then you start to like learn to kind of like dial it back a little bit, and then you start picking people off, and it sounds like a great way to do that in a running race too.
yeah, one thing, my thing is I can keep my pace very well. So as long as I stop my pace from way in the back, naturally, all the people who went out too fast, all coming back to me. So,
Mhm.
and that kind of motivates me whole race. Like
Mm.
I'm passing people, so makes me feel good.
So if we looked at like maybe your pacing across a long, even a hard rock
Yeah,
or Western states, like
pretty
you see a much more even pace probably.
very even. Yeah,
That's excellent. Yeah, because I mean, I know I've done it many times. Like you go out and you're in the, I've only done a 100 miler so far, but you go out and you're like, I'm killing it. I'm doing 11-minute miles. I'm going to be done in under
Mhm.
24 hours, no problem.
Mhm.
And then pretty soon it just falls apart. So it sounds like you've got a great way of just kind of like setting that gear and just kind of like going for it at that level.
yeah, yeah. I learned that one year when I did the 24-hour thing in San Francisco, and I was going around these loops pretty good, but we made a mistake setting up the tent right by the start line. I keep going back in the tent and taking nap and stuff. And this lady, she just walks from start, just walking around, walking around. She never stops, and she almost caught me. And that's how I learned it. As long as you're moving, you're faster than the fast people. So
That's great advice. Yeah, I
yeah,
love it.
you gotta keep moving.
Do you have a favorite local race that you do every year here
Lucky
in the?
Chappie.
Oh. Well, thank you. I am actually, I have to
Who puts
say,
that on?
okay, I have to say it is my favorite race to RD because I have a blast. It is one of the few races where I actually can get on the course and watch people because it's an out and back. So I usually go to the aid station and I see everybody come through and I wait for the first runner to come back. And once that first runner come back, I hit to the finish line. In that section of the course, Cal Street, uh, when we have the race in March, it is beautiful. It's just green and lush, and the river is full. It's
It's
yeah,
pretty much
it's yeah.
first race of the year for a lot of people. You know,
Hmm.
it's the first race of the year, the season.
Yeah,
That race pretty much starts the season for everybody. So,
yeah, it is. It's the start of the season, so we're to give you a little bit of hope. I am hoping that we can do a rocket check in the fall,
mm.
have a full version. It's
Oh,
I'm giving permits pending, right? So yeah, we're trying to figure it out how to do things. But yeah, I have to agree with you. It's a cool course. It's a great views. Yes.
yeah,
Um,
my other favorite is of course Rio de Lago.
okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's that's how I started my 100 mile. That's my first 100 mile. So
Okay.
I pretty much do every year, and this is my 10th well, 11th running, and it'll be, if I finish, it'll be my 10th finish.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
yeah.
So yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing you at Granite Bay Beach again.
Yeah, that's right.
We
Thanks for encouragement, man. That was
yes,
pretty close.
yes. It's people say because we are a mile. I can't think right now. A mile 20 on the way out and like mile 96 on the way back. So we are there for over 30 hours, close to 30 hours from setup to cleanup, and we have a blast. I mean, we bring the kids, we move to Granite Bay Beach for the weekend, and we see all of our friends, and we make a lot of new friends over the weekend. So
Yeah, that's
I'm
my
looking
goal
forward to this
every
year.
year, that I gotta get there before 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That's the thing for there. Because otherwise I won't make it. So
I signed up for that one this year too, so hopefully it'll go off without a hitch.
I love the race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paced it last year, so give it a shot this year.
Don't run first section from Bills to around the Lake Natoma.
I think I'm gonna have to try to take your advice and dial things back.
Yeah, you
Not go
got
up too hard.
Other people showing off running around the Lake Natoma.
Yeah.
And running uphill to the Bills Point. You're crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's
pretty much all of them. I know they're dropping out.
That's a classic race where, I mean, the draw to run hard early is probably so difficult for people to avoid, right?
Yeah, because it starts downhill, so
get
crazy on that thing.
Yeah, I could see even just taking like walk breaks, like paved sections, right? I mean, you want to save it for later when you're really hurting.
That's right. Either you walk first part of the race, or end up walking back part of the race.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Incredible. So just switching gears a little bit, just in terms of talking about other runners, I know that one of the things that you had mentioned to us in the questionnaire we sent you was some of your inspirations, and those were Dean Karnazes and Charlie Thorne. So obviously Dean, if people don't know, just a fantastic marathoner, runner, just all around. He's done what did he do? Like 50 marathons in 50 states. I should have looked that up to be more clear.
50 days.
50 days, yeah. And then I was just looking up Charlie. I wasn't familiar with his name, but he's like a Hardrock legend.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's had like over 10 finishes or close to 10 finishes, and just in multiple years, you know, a lot of them in sequential years. So did you meet both of those guys? And like, what did they mentor you, or?
Dean, I never talked to him, but Charlie, he's my sensei. He's my master.
Yeah,
he's the one design a Hardrock course, but last few years he kind of slowed down. He started teaching the young people how to do it. But I learned so many stuff about mountains, plants and rocks and stuff like that. And he's just an amazing person.
Yeah. So like even beyond the race experience, but just like the flora, the fauna, just like anything to do with kind of the area out there, it sounds like.
Yeah, he's my master. So
that's great. Yeah.
And so anybody go to Hardrock should look up to him.
And when did you meet him?
The first year when I decided to do the Hardrock.
Okay.
In Hardrock, I every time I talk to somebody going to Hardrock, I always recommend go like 2 weeks ahead of time and join this course marking crew. So you learn all the terrains and weathers and stuff, but most of the Hardrock courses don't have a trail. It's pretty much which way you go up to this ridge, and there's nothing to indicate there's a trail there. So if you go to course marking, you pretty much get idea of which direction you need to go. And we build the cairns. There's a cairns we build every year with rocks, but every winter they're knocked off, so we have to rebuild it.
Oh yeah.
So even though you can't find a coast marking, you go with this cairns. So you can follow that, then you can find the way to go. So that's why I recommend everybody make sure go there early, go up there with coast marking crew.
That sounds like an amazing experience. Like you'll get the full, experience of Hardrock if you go do that, plus the race too, I would think.
Because during the race, you don't have no time enjoying the view.
Sure.
Right? So it's a beautiful.
Wow. Yeah. So Paula, did you want to ask about like some
Yeah.
of the getting
So
ready?
Kuni, one thing that I wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to ask you about your training and workouts, because Kuni, you and I were friends on Facebook, so I get to see the stuff that you and Daisy share, and I want to talk about that big log and all the stuff, because I will say that out of the you know, when it comes to the norm of the idea of what a workout entails, I seen pictures of you carrying a log, or it's doing things like that. So what do you do at home?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No.
You're Daisy.
No, because we couldn't go out running. That's why I started doing that kind of stuff. I don't usually do
Okay.
Weightliftings and stuff like that. I just run. I hate weightlifting, so
Okay.
yeah, I made up all the stuff with trees and this and that, but no, that's because it was this situation.
Okay.
And,
That's understood.
Running
Okay,
around in the backyard and stuff. So.
I was hoping that you give me a secret tip so I can become a little bit more Kuni like. But
No,
it's
but most of my weight training, I'm a landscaper. So,
okay.
I walk outside all day and dig in, lifting, and all that stuff. So I don't need to do weight training.
It sounds like daily work just keeps your upper body in shape.
Yeah,
and
think
then
so.
you complement with the running.
Big time, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would think that would just be an incredible way. You're not really like going and doing a purposeful like workout in a gym or with weights. I mean, you're just like moving your body constantly.
That's why when this thing happened, quarantine thing happened, we even joined the gym. And we went like 2 times.
Oh yeah.
And I can't take it.
Yeah.
No way. Sorry, I don't do weight training.
I hear that. Now, I've also heard maybe, and tell me if this is not right, that you've done some just kind of like other types of things where you'll just go out for like 12 hours and just go up and down cardiac, or just go up and down a ladder with a weight vest on or something like that. Is that true?
Yeah, it's just training for races, because normal training won't get me finished to all these races. So
right.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a very focused way of just really pushing yourself rather than just going out and
to get some kind of pain.
Yeah. And
so,
I mean, you do feel like that you have to do that to finish something like that?
Yes. Yeah. I think, I don't know, it's just myself. You have to train harder than the race itself. Otherwise, so race is for me to enjoy, not to have a pain and tough time. So I try to have tougher training as much as I can think of. And the going up and down cardiacs and stuff is more like mental training. Because most race I do is you pretty much by yourself in a course. So if I can stand doing a cardiac repeat, I can't be out there by myself doing a race. So That's why I do that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because you got to train yourself physically, but you also have to train that mental toughness too. And just
Yeah,
in some ways, like some boredom, just you know that this is going to be a grind and you just have to keep pushing through it. And it's tough sometimes because your brain just says, I don't want to do this anymore, but you have to
yeah.
push it.
Most of my race, I rather not to have a pacer.
Mm,
So I'm pretty much myself out there. So if I can stand training by myself, there's no way I can finish my race. So
yeah. So is there no pacer at Hardrock or Hurt?
I had a Bruce Lavelle
Mm,
pacing. I should have my ear plug on, but yeah, he paced me and he helped me finish.
yeah, yeah.
But
Incredible.
So, is there anything that you're continuing to training for? Is there any race that you have on the calendar that hasn't been canceled, other than
yeah,
RDL? Sounds like.
my name's in I'm Tough in Idaho.
Okay.
It's in September.
Okay.
So I'm kind of slow it down now. I just run every day and just keep my shape.
Are you planning on running RDL this year as well?
I hope so. I hope they have the RDL.
Okay.
Yeah,
There will be a quick comeback from September to November.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
I gotta do it.
I'm like you. I am hoping that RDL happens and we can celebrate at the aid station.
Yeah.
No pun intended there.
Both of the 8 stations, right?
Yes, that's right.
That's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, I guess it all depends, right? We're all sort of waiting for that November timeframe to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, right?
Yep.
I mean, always run around backyard for 100 miles.
That's right. And I am fully expecting you're going to do something like that, right?
Yeah.
If it's canceled.
I think something.
And now you've rolled over to Western States for next year then as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I was expecting to do the double again.
Yep.
To the States and then the Hardrock. So,
and did you, how were you in the regular lottery this past year?
No, Hardrock I'm still waiting. That's the number 5.
Oh, I mean, for Western States, for that lottery, how many years did you have to get into that one?
I think it was 5 years maybe.
Oh, okay.
Since 17.
Because you've done that one, I think, 2 or 3 times at this point.
Yeah.
3 times.
12,
I think.
12 and 15.
Yeah.
17.
11 and 17.
Oh, 11, 17.
Okay. So, yeah, as we were saying, quite the resume for sure.
Yeah.
I think we've got a number of audience questions. Did you have anything else you wanted to ask Kuni, Paulo, or do you want to go to that?
Now let's go ahead and move to questions. I know Mike is kind of nudging us and letting us know that there are multiple questions on Facebook. And so, Mike, if you want to go ahead and put that through.
Yeah, I see Lori has jumped on the Zoom call. Lori, are you there? You had a couple questions about his shoes. She is on, but
I can see her, yes.
So Lori was wondering about during a race, do you change your shoes?
No.
A simple answer, no changing shoes.
So no matter the distance of the race, you don't change your shoes.
No, that's a waste time.
Okay. So it's a time. So if you are early on the race, let's say mile 20th, and you have drenched feet, and Daisy's right there with the brand, with the dry pair of shoes and socks, you'll say.
Well, like I forgot to mention when I do Hardrock training for Hardrock, I wet my shoes first every time.
You wet your shoes. Okay.
And I have to have wet shoes the whole time I'm training until I finish my Hardrock. Because Hardrock, from the start to finish, everybody's shoes gonna be wet. So it don't
Okay.
matter, you change your shoes, 2 minutes later, your shoes, socks gonna be wet. So it's a waste of time.
That's
Okay.
Christine has a question on Facebook about first-time Western States runners. What advice would you give them?
Pace. Pacing. Don't let the other people affect your pace.
Mm.
And a lot of time you start from school, you feel so good, everybody chatting and talking, moving up the hill. You forget your pace and you keeping up with other people, and by the time you go up in top and start going down, you're pretty much wasting so much energy. So just worry about your own pace and don't think other people.
That's good advice. I think I saw you at Canyons one time and you just were like, I was so late in the race and I was dead and you just cruised right on by like it was the first 5K of the race. I could not, I saw you go, I tried to keep up for like a minute and I was like, it's never going to happen.
You got to keep that even pace the whole way, you know?
That's right.
Oh yeah. Dan Savage has a question about the donut shop 50K. And what motivated that event?
Which one was that?
The
He
donut.
said he called it the
Oh,
donut.
donut run. No, I just got tired of running short miles, so I had to put some 50K in it, and I couldn't go up trail at the time, so I just came up something, and I thought I use this special things, and I tried to find out if I can run 50K without taking any kind of special nutrition stuff and just do with donut sugar. And I found out just donut sugar is not good enough to go.
Didn't work.
Yeah, so yeah, it was good experimental stuff.
That's great. Interesting. So the last couple of questions are from Jessica Harris. She has a couple of things. Jessica, go ahead.
Hi. So what does your training look like for the variety of races that you do? What changes from when you're doing, say, a race like Rio de Lago to Hardrock? What changes?
Don't change that much. I pretty much run every day 6 miles, except the weekend. And the weekend I go out, try to do 20, 30 miles. And then up till Hardrock though, every year July. So June, May, I bump it up to 80 miles a week. So
Wow.
yeah, I just did 100 miles. Now that I start having all kind of program. So 70, 80 is pretty much I can handle.
Mm-hmm. And what does your racing, like, how do you plan your races for the year?
I just go ultra sign up, but now I know which race I run.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the same race I have from 50K from after Hurt in Hawaii. It's a January. Then I look at Rocky Chuckies and go on 50K, then up to 50 miles and try to do 100K months before July Hardrock. So
Awesome.
now I have a Japanese race coming up, 100 miles in May. So I try to focus on that now. So Hardrock is my cool down
Wow.
All
now.
Like, speaking of training for those different races, especially Hardrock where it's a high altitude, I mean, do you go up to Tahoe and do any training up there at all?
Yeah. I do. I go Diamond Peak repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that.
And when you say repeats, how many are we talking here?
Diamond Peak, I do like 6, 7 times.
All right.
And I kind of like stayed away for a while because I saw a big bear one here walking across the Diamond Peak. And that kind of scared the heck out of me.
Yeah.
And he just kept walking toward me. So for a while, I was kind of stay away, but I love to go up there.
No wonder Kuni says he doesn't like running. When you go do Diamond Peak 6, 7 times.
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
it's for
nah,
racing.
not really.
Now, when you're doing those Diamond Peak repeats, are you coming straight back down Diamond Peak? Or
Yeah,
you going down the
yeah.
Tyrolean? Okay. Wow.
Because Hardrock downhill.
Well, yeah. So talk about the Hardrock downhills. I mean, it's just like, isn't it just like scree fields and just all kinds of, just like you were saying, like off trail, like
Yeah.
what is that doing to your body, to your feet and everything else?
Yeah, and their downhill and uphill is very long. It doesn't go up and down, up and down, up and down. You go up for a long time, down for a long time. So you gotta train for like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Diamond Peak is a perfect place for me.
Yeah.
So even the K2, I don't go around the loop. I just go up K2 and come down K2.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the footing is so terrible on that. It's like better for you, I'm sure, because you can't really, I mean, I'm sure there are people, maybe you like run it. I tend to pick my way down that thing, but every time I get to the bottom, I think I don't want to do that again. But for something like Hardrock, it's probably necessary. I know Paul's got some experience running up and down that thing a few times too.
When the heart and race in Japan get closer, I go to cardiac because cardiac has a very rough footing, and rocks. So I go there, train for those 2 races.
Yeah.
K2 is a little too smooth for me.
Oh yeah. Nice. Yeah. So what other like, I mean, have you been also then just trying to come up with these other things like you could run in your backyard or whatever, or are there just other challenges that you've got in mind that you're thinking about doing? Anything unusual that you've come up with during the quarantine that you might try?
No, I really don't. I rather do just a regular race. But if I can't have a race, then I'll think something. But no. My glass died for a while because I went around so many times in the backyard. So I had to repair my glasses.
That's probably a common issue these days with a lot of runners, I'm guessing, huh?
Yeah.
Too good. Well, I think I'm trying to see, do we have a couple more questions that came in there?
Yeah, I have one more question on Facebook. It's from John Becker. He wants to know, how does your training differ in other countries versus some race, like in the United States versus the States in a different country?
It's pretty much how the course is. So I changed, like I said, I changed place to train. Japan, Hawaii, bad footing, so I trained at the bad footing courses. In like Western states, pretty much you can train anywhere. And Hardrock, I try to wet my shoes and carry all the heavy stuff with me. And wet my shirt and shoes and socks before I run. It's just a race-oriented training because you can't just run the same way. I don't worry about how many minutes, mile I can run and stuff like that. But because I see a lot of people drop out each race is from different programs, blisters, can't eat and stuff like that. So I rather train for those than how fast I can run. So.
Perfect.
Okay. Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, well, I just wanted to, I think we've gotten a lot of questions answered today. We've had a lot of good interaction from the audience tonight. I really appreciate all the questions coming in from Zoom and from Facebook. Looks like we've had quite a number of people watching on Facebook tonight, so that's really excellent. Love to see everyone interacting over there. Kuni, I just want to really thank you for the time you took to put in answering some of our questions before the interview here, and spending the time with us, and really kind of like giving us a real interesting, several interesting things to think about regarding pacing and just your approach to training. I think these are really valuable ideas for people, myself included. So I really want to thank you for that. And
well, I hope anything I said made sense.
It absolutely does. Yeah. I mean, you can't go out and train for some of these races, like you said, without simulating some of the conditions you're going to run into. Because I mean, once you get into those conditions, if you aren't familiar with them, it's going to be hard. So that's, I think, great. Yeah. So thanks again for all of that.
Yeah. That's like Greg said, thank you, Kuni, for taking the time to share your experience with us. I am very, very happy to have learned more about you. It's I think you and I can co-captain the Running Sucks team. It's yes. It's,
by the way, I still love the way you look with your Salomon shoes, the red and the white one. First time I saw you with that shoes on, man, I thought that dude is so cool.
Well,
yeah, that was the first impression of you.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sure my kids will disagree with you. It's, yes, but I don't think I had kids then. So, maybe I was schooled then. Yes, it's, no, it's, but I think that running when you don't want to run is one of the hardest things to do, but it's one of the most positive training elements when it comes to ultra running, because in ultra running events you're gonna hit many times that situation where you just want to stop, and if you have trained yourself to keep on going when you don't want to, or start when you don't want to, it's gonna be easier to do it during the race. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Well, that was another episode, number 4 of the Mile 99 interview. I'm Greg Larkin. I really appreciate you guys all showing up, and take us out, Paulo.
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys. And have a good night. By the way, the aid station is open 4 times a week right now. It's but we are expanding those hours probably next week to the week after. Hopefully, I hear that phase 3 is coming early July, which is not that far away from here. It's only 3 weeks away, and Thursday might be just around the corner. So keep washing your hands. Keep washing your hands. Even if there's no pandemic, you should still wash your hands. All right. So thanks everybody for joining us tonight, and we'll see you again next Thursday.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Kuni.
All right. Cheers.